So now we're going to start on video number 2 for this chapter. We're going to start off talking about the cost of production report. So this is nothing more, and we need reports in a manufacturing environment because everything is about cost. We have to understand the cost of everything we do because it affects the selling price. It affects the profitability of the whole facility. So a cost of production report will summarize all of the cost. So each department will be adding cost for the processes happening. And as they move from department to department, those costs have to be transferred in. So when an item is finished one department, like the mixing department, it's transferred out into the next department. And typically when things are transferred out, they are 100% complete. And we're going to be talking about that, understanding that 100% complete. So there are 4 major steps, and we're going to take them very slowly. Here they are. So the first step is going to be determine the units to assign cost, because not everything will have to have cost assigned to it. Once we do that, we're going to do step 2, which is compute what I call it EUP, which stands for equivalent units of production. And when we do step 2, we're going to do it 2 separate ways. We're going to do it for only direct materials, and we'll do it for only conversion cost. And if you remember from previous chapters, conversion costs are direct labor and factory overhead. Once we finish that, we're going to determine the cost per equivalent unit. And then once I know what each unit costs, then I can allocate cost to all units that are transferred out. Remember, when they're transferred out, they are 100% complete. So I just want to keep iterating that to you is when units are transferred out, they are 100% complete. But then I'm going to have what we call partially complete units. And how I account for them is extremely important. That's the hard part of this here. So actually number 2 and number 4 will be the hard parts of this chapter. And I'm being honest, guys, about things. So we're going to start off, before we get started, we're going to look at our cost of production report. So it requires making a cost flow assumption. And as I was telling you earlier that we're going to be using FIFO for almost all of the examples in this book. Matter of fact, right here, FIFO method is used in this chapter. So that's first in, first out. So you have to remember that from accounting 1A or financial accounting, that the first inventory in is the first inventory that will move on to the next department. And then we're going to stop here after this slide, and then we'll start headed into the steps. So this is an illustration. This is a cost of production report for the mixing department only. If you remember, there were 2 different departments, and this is for the month of July. And so I have my beginning inventory in process. I had 5,000 gallons. Well, my direct cost for that 5,000 gallons happens to be $5,000. And conversion costs for 5,000 gallons, which, by the way, the conversion costs are direct labor and factory overhead. And as I move through WIP, they are added. So starting with the month, I already have conversion costs that are 70% complete in regards to that 5,000 gallons. So what I'm going to have to look at is the 30% that's not complete. Okay? So, and that's what we're going to focus on later on. So 70% complete, that's basically this number here. So my total beginning inventory is this as far as cost. Then I'm going to bring in $66,000 in cost for 60,000 gallons. I'm going to bring in the direct labor cost for the month of July only and the factory overhead. And so my total production cost right now is going to be $90,000. What our goal is to find out how many gallons are transferred. What is the cost of the gallons transferred to the next department in July? Because it's a question mark. And what is the cost of the inventory still in the mixing department? And by the way, they are 25% complete. Now I keep telling you about this because you need to remember that direct materials are always 100% added when the materials come in. But I add the conversion cost, which is labor and factory overhead, as I go along. So this is the end of video 2. and we'll continue on the next video.